Hey everybody, my name is Ramon Ray, founder of Smart Hustle Media. We're here on the amazing live broadcast with HR Direct apps and others who I'll introduce in a minute, Donna and Kedma. So we're going to be about 5 minutes. We'll wait about 4 or 5 minutes after the hour, giving people time to join. And in the meantime, you can just look at our smiling faces. If you want to ask some questions while you're joining, you can, but we're not officially started yet. We're just chilling, having a good time. And I would say having a cup of coffee, which I finished already and took upstairs. So I just have a bottle of water, which is healthy. Donna, how you feel? You feel okay? Feel good?
I feel pretty good. I'm feeling like I'm in good company too as well. So I'm happy about that.
Kedma, how you feeling? Superwoman?
I'm always grateful. I feel blessed and happy to be here.
Awesome. Jamie, what's going on in your world? How you feel?
I'm feeling great. I can't complain. Just as the lady said, I'm glad to be here today.
Awesome. So we'll start another, give people 4 minutes or so. We'll start at 5 minutes after the hour, give or take. Nobody ever comes on time. People want to come in the middle. They say, I'll watch it on demand. Who knows? But I know we're going to have a good time and talk about a lot of knowledge today. And I just love the match of that peach shirt or whatever it is. Guys never know color. The peach shirt and the blue. I'm liking that a lot, really. And while the attendees, and thank you those who've joined kind of early-ish on time, while you're joining, feel free to shout out, well, 2 things. A, where are you from? What state or city are you in? Feel free to let us know that. And 2, if you can just say, if you can hear me and you're an attendee, just say, Ramon, we hear you. Me, I'm from the New York City area. Donna's from the Maryland area. Kedma's in the West Coast. Jamie's in the South Coast, so Southeast. So we're all over the country here, and we're glad to have you. But yeah, if you're hearing me, shout out where you're from. And don't worry, we won't make fun of your city because nobody has a worse state than New Jersey. I say it's the vacation capital of the world, but then people like Donna laugh at me. Yeah, right, Ramon. Okay.
Oh, we got someone from New York City.
Hey, Ruchi, thanks for joining. Mark, thanks for joining.
Aruba. Loving Aruba.
Yeah. I'm jealous of that one.
Yeah,
absolutely. Jamie, we'll have to hook you up with a conference, and Kedma, me, and Donna will have to accompany you to the conference.
Oh, yeah. There we go. I want to go to Aruba, too.
Absolutely. And Ruchi, thank you so much for joining. Ruchi's an amazing finance person as well. So we got about 2 more minutes to go, and we'll start no matter who joins in the live, but we will be rebroadcasting this, and we'll be ripping it up and sharing this with our great audience. And I'll share it with you, Donna and Kedma's and get this knowledge.
Everybody
Andrea's like, can we go too? Yeah, we'll see. Maybe for a princely fee, we'll see what we can arrange. But thanks for those of you who are joining in. Again, it's my name is Ramon Ray, Smart Hustle Media. It's 2:33 where I'm at, and we'll start officially dive into the conversation today in about 2 more minutes, 5 minutes after the half-an-hour mark. There's a simpler way to say that. I think on radio they say what, Kedma, 5 minutes after the bottom of the hour or something fancy like that. So
you have that radio voice.
Oh.
Yes, he does.
Doesn't he?
He does.
Now I'm blushing. Wow. But thank you all again, the attendees who are joining us. We appreciate you. And feel free to tweet out, share out, Instagram out, HR Direct _apps, I believe, from my memory. If I'm wrong, somebody can tell me or I'll find it in a minute here. And Kedma, why don't you shout out what's your favorite? I know you're definitely the LinkedIn guru, so you can just find Kedma on LinkedIn, but any social platform that's better for you, or you prefer like LinkedIn?
No, I love LinkedIn.
Okay.
I love LinkedIn.
Awesome. Donna, Extra Pair of Hands, where can we find you at? I know you have a great website. That's Extra Pair of Hands DC.
Yes, Extra Pair of Hands DC. You can find me on my website. Okay. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us also on Facebook.
Awesome.
And on Angie's List.
That's a good place to be. Awesome. And I'm just going to quickly, while we're still in the green room-ish, even though we're live, I believe that is. I should have it by heart. I've been to the website zillions of times. But yes, HRDirectApps.com. That's where you all can go. I'm going to put this in the chat window. Oh, great. Thank you, Johanna. Appreciate it. And HR_direct on Twitter. So it's 5 minutes after 30 minutes. 35 minutes into the hour. So let us formally start. Hey everybody, thanks for joining our live discussion today, talking about hiring pain points, hiring challenges, how to hire, have a great team, but be legally compliant. It's not easy for small businesses to do that. And we're going to have a great discussion with the amazing panelists we have here today all about that. My name is Ramon Ray of Smart Hustle Media. We have us today, Donna Morris, who is Extra Pair of Hands DC, amazing business in the Maryland area who provides an extra pair of hands to people who need high quality, amazing service. My friend Kedma O, who's an author, a writer, a speaker, consults to small businesses, award-winning, and Kedma has a huge LinkedIn profile. She can introduce herself in a minute, but that's Kedma O. And Jamie Lizotte, who's with HR Direct Apps. Jamie, thank you for being with us, and we know you're going to drop science on us all about what we need to be aware of. So thanks for being with us today. I think with that, I'm going to turn, you're welcome. I'm going to turn to you actually, Kevin, to start out just the aspect of team building. I think one thing that I often struggle with, especially for smaller businesses that are looking to hire, and I think it's a given question. So it's more rhetorical, but why is it so important to have a great team? As businesses are ramping up, you're busy, you're struggling, you got to hire fast and furious. The order came in. I just need somebody.
Right.
Why possibly, as I'm guessing you're going to agree with, should we slow down maybe and try to get it done right and get a great team? Why is that?
Well, first I would step back and say that every entrepreneur I've met, and I've worked with over 10,000 entrepreneurs, so that's a real number. We are all control freaks. Raise your hand if you're a control freak. Okay. If you're not, you're pretending. So as control freaks, we want to own everything, right? We don't believe anyone can do it better. Right. We don't believe anyone can be faster. And so first we have to step out of our own way. And when we build our team, the second issue we run into is we want to hire people just like us.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
But listen, if there was 10 other Kedmas in my office, I would choke them to death. What we want to do is we want to build a team around the culture. And that's why it's so important, right? Because we can get out of our way and we can stay in our own lane, but we don't have to bottleneck it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's so much I can really pivot around this, but at the end of the day, part of building the right team and the need for a team is so that we can continue to be in service and not create a situation where we're overwhelmed and then creating a prison for ourselves.
Wow, that's tweetable. That's like a t-shirt right there.
Oh yeah, well I hear it all the time when my clients come in and it's the same thing. Yeah, I'm struggling. I have so many, and I say, wow. I said, how does it feel to be in prison? Because the key's on the inside. Yeah, yeah.
Very powerful. Kevin, thank you so much. And Donna, I know you're on this journey. You've already hired, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just setting the stage for you, you've already hired a number of freelancers and 1099s and others in your business. And I think you're on the cusp of as I understand it, hiring. You're getting to that point where I need to hire 1, 2, or 3, or 10 people. So for yourself, Donna, why is that critical to you? I know you and I had a chance to talk before. We had a discussion and your business is rocking in large part because you are doing what Kedma was saying, you're hiring the right people. But curious, talk about your journey a bit, why that's so important to you and the clients you work with. If you screw up, that's a problem. So what is your journey and why it's important to get the right team?
And Kedma's words are so hit to heart to me because my business, Extra Pair of Hands DC, it's a service-oriented business. Right. So then that means I have to hire people with a personality, not so much volume. So for the longest, my business was being just me. But then I was getting so much business, I was like, I got to get more people. I got to get more people. So like she was saying, I had to find more like-minded, not so much like-minded, like-styled when it came to the service industry.
Got it.
My staff, or like contractors, I'll say we're all different hats, they're all different personalities. But the one thing we have in common is we do the service industry all with the same mindset.
Right.
Okay. Good job from the beginning to end. Customer service, personality based, because our niche is smaller things. So that means we don't get to do the mega things where we don't have come in contact. We're in people's homes, in that party room in your building. So it's kind of like a one-on-one. We're kind of like family somewhat. So you have to know how to be or have the kind of personality that fits into that. So like you said, I'm in the process, I need more people, but even though I need them, I have to bite the bullet for now because I'm not going to rush myself.
Yeah, that's smart.
Right people. I don't want to have to do it over again. I don't want to keep searching. Basically, the 15, 16, 17 people that I've got, I've almost had them the entire time because we are all like-minded. So I took the advice. I just slowed it down. You know, I took away a lot of money because the personality in the person had to be right. It's not like when you're something big, kind of, sort of, you know, you pass through thousands. So, you know, you don't get that touchy-feely. My stuff is the touchy-feely.
Wow. And that's a t-shirt too. My stuff is the touchy-feely. Jamie, now let's go back to Donna's business. Pretend, well, you are talking to Donna, but let's take Donna as a case in point. She's, you know, her business is growing. She's rocking. She's on the cusp or has already started to hire employees. Jamie. Yes. So what's that common danger you see? Don't talk to the one who already has employees and all that. Talk now to Donna and people listening who will be listening live and after the fact. They're getting ready to hire Jamie. What are some of the things you're always seeing that you wish they would talk to you before they started to hire? And we'll get into application, other things later. But at the high level, what's some things you like as they're slowing down correctly? Here's what you need to think about.
Yeah. Well, definitely when you're getting ready to hire employees, it's so important to know that you're ready to hire employees. Okay. And you want to be prepared because you don't want to get yourself in hot water even before you have somebody working for you. One thing that Donna pointed out, you know, is she's kind of holding off on even hiring more people. You know, the average cost of a bad hire is about $17,000. So props to you there, Donna, making that decision, making sure that you're going to hire the right people and building the right team. So, you know, focusing on the skills and things like that. But when it comes to really hiring and not complying with the law, it could cost your business even before you have an employee in your company. Right. You know, it starts, there's a lot of things that need to happen as you hire somebody. Forms like I-9 and W-4 need to be filled out. And if you don't have this these forms, I should say, properly documented, obviously, if you were to get audited, that could then cost your company money. Penalties for not having them completed. And then another danger that we want to talk about is even while you're going through the hiring process, you know, and there were some triggers even that Donna said, you hire on personality because that's your industry. Right. What you want to focus on there is make sure that you have that in your job description to make sure that it's customer service oriented, and they have to have that in there because what you're focusing on when you're going to hire a person is their skills that are needed to do the job. And that's what you want to focus on, because if not, what we call accidental discrimination. Ramon, I know we've talked about this before, and a lot of people do it. And the reason why we call it accidental discrimination is because they don't know that they're actually doing it. It's not intentional. They just don't know what they don't know until they know. That's another shirt for you, by the way.
I know, I like it. They don't know until they tell. And this accidental discrimination, and we can cover it in depth later, or we can do it now. But I guess, and what I'm hearing you say is that most people, I think, based on my experience in life, are good people. Everybody has a different experience. We all run into some crazy people, but I think most people are decent people, and people don't wake up saying, for the most part, I don't like a guy with shaved head and glasses. They may look and just for whatever, you know, again, I can get into the deep here, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's more like, no, I don't want Ramon. Right. So is that kind of what we're talking about? Not blatant stuff where on your shirt it says, I hate Ramon, or talk about that a bit.
Accidental discrimination can come in different ways. You know, it can be about, you know, asking illegal questions during your job, during the interview process, you know, where you're not sure that that's an illegal question. You know, obviously any types of questions that put somebody in a protected characteristic group is what you want to shy away from, because those are areas where they could actually put your company in hot water. Obviously, if the applicant knows the laws, but again, it's your responsibility to know the laws as the employer. So you want to make sure that you do know what the illegal questions are, so that you're not asking them. Same thing with the job applications, asking illegal questions on the job applications. You know, and it can also be, you can also go into accidental discrimination when you have your job description.
Yes.
You know, and that could be the way that you actually phrase the title of your position. You talk about having great personality, or, you know, you see it a lot of the time saying young graduates or new graduates or things like that. So it kind of puts it puts people into groups and kind of pushes other people out that are in protected groups, especially with age and things like that.
Can you say something like, and then I want to ask you about a follow-up question here, Jamie, and then I want to ask you for comment, Kedma, but can you say something like, I only want people with red sweaters? Is that okay?
It's not a protected class.
Awesome.
It's not a protected class.
Okay, good. No, but I know this is serious stuff. I like to have fun sometimes. I'm curious though, Jamie, let me push back a bit. Mm-hmm. Isn't this just for big billion-dollar companies? And Kedma, after Jamie responds, I'd like you to respond. I mean, I know what's happened to Microsoft. They had an issue years ago. Maybe Uber has a law in California. But these are big companies. They have lobbyists. Do we small businesses really have to worry about this? I mean, can't we just kind of ignore it, Jamie?
Well, you know what? It's a lot of small businesses say, I'm untouchable.
Right.
You're not going to worry about me. I'm a small business.
Exactly.
The fact of the matter is, it possibly could only take one thing to actually put that small business out of business, because they are small, depending on what they're bringing in, and depending on what happens. If they're audited, that could snowball effect, because agencies share information. We know that. So that could create another issue, more penalties coming down the pipeline. But not only that, it also, with employees, if you do it once, you're probably doing it with other employees, which is now going to snowball effect as well. And that creates a bigger issue. So now your penalties went from 0 to however much. Right. And you also have to consider court fees, legal fees, if it goes to court, anything like that now you're going to have to pay. So any business needs to comply with the law. And
sure, fair enough.
It's the law. Fair enough. Now, to say that small businesses are untouchable, most definitely not. So they want to be just as prepared. Do they get audited as often? I can't tell you that, because you just never know.
Yeah, no, got it. And Kedma, I'm curious, the people you're talking to, you've talked to thousands of small businesses, helping them. Do they ever push back to you and say, Kedma, I don't need to do all this. I'm just a plumber. I'm just a small business. I just have a restaurant. Do they push back and are like, no?
Not with me, they don't.
Oh, well.
Nobody really pushes back with me. But
let's pretend it wasn't you.
Exactly. Well, a couple of things. One thing we talk about is not necessarily to hire to personality, to hire to the values of the company. And what I mean by that is, so like the values of the company that I'm a part of, it's really clear. I could tell you right now, we stand for IHOOK, which stands for innovation, humility, over-delivery, optimism, and kindness. So I will tell you right now that when we're hiring, we are very clear on those values. And we can look to specific things. Did that person handle kindness on the call? Did they handle kindness in the customer service? And that takes away this whole thing about concerns with age discrimination, sexual orientation, youth, because I can tell you really quickly if someone is over-delivering, which is part of our values, or if they're optimistic.
Got it.
And so I truly believe that culturally, our companies need to have a brand, need to engage in that brand, and need to convey it in the values of the company and say, do I fit in or not fit in? There are some companies that I will not name that are huge companies in the tech industry that their nickname, one of them, is called Divorce City. Okay? Wow. The reason for that is because when people get hired in, within a very short amount of time, they get a divorce.
Wow. Yeah, that's not a good nickname for sure.
No.
Donna, as you're hearing this advice from Jamie and Kedma, does it concern you? Does it worry you? What are your thoughts as you've started in this journey of hiring contractors and others, but as you hire your first, your second, your third full-time employee, what are the things, Donna, that concerns you? What are the things you're looking for as you're doing this, representing the millions of small businesses out there as you're on your journey to hire your first set of full-time employees? What goes through your mind?
First of all, it's so refreshing, and this is information that a small business needs. The name of the Smart Hustle magazine attracted me because back in the day in the Black community, the hustle was how we existed. Okay. The hustle, I mean, people had menial jobs, they had menial education, but there was always a hustle in the community. Right. You know, you had the jitneys, which is now like Uber. Okay. You had the writing of the illegal numbers, which is now the lotto. Okay.
Wow.
There was always a hustle. So then that means it wasn't important to go have HR or, you know, or know the laws, you know, or do X, Y, and Z, because we were just a hustle. It was a mom and pop. You were paid under the table. You didn't, you know, you don't have to report the taxes. But and I use my own business as an example, as I become more successful, as I take my business to the various levels and want to interact with maybe becoming a franchise and being a part of Smart Hustle and having a website and stuff, you have to, and more so, make your business legal.
Yeah.
You have to start to know what the laws is. If you're going to take yourself out of the realm of being a mom and pop and being paid under the table, you know, or just giving your people cash and stuff like that, you have to take yourself to another level, but you have to know, now I'm in the big leagues, okay?
Yes.
Now I got to worry about discrimination. Now I got to worry about my job description, having the right lingo, okay? And things of that nature. So these things are very important for us that are just coming out, getting into what we consider the big league. The big timers, they already know this stuff kind of, sort of. That's why it was important for me to be a part of this panel and give the point of view of the person that's just coming out into starting a business, being legal, okay, you know, having documents and forms and stuff that you need to take a look at, somebody being able to sue you, you know, just these kind of things. So these things that they're saying are very, very important for us first timers that are taking our business to another level and really have a legit. I have a lot of subcontractors, not a lot of employees, but I'm getting ready to have employees. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to be on a whole different level. You know, subcontractors, oh boo, they take care of their grown selves. Okay, they worry about their own taxes and stuff. And I do my part there, do yours, because in that league. But when you take it to another level, like I said, and want to be able to maybe go to a bank and, you know, ask for money for your business, you know, become a franchise, you know, you're into documentation and you have to be by the law. You know, you have to be by the law. So that's why this was very important for me to be a part of.
No, and we're glad you're here. And I think, Jamie, it sounds to me like, to your point, everybody has to be legal, of course, that's a given. But I think to what Donna's bringing out is that when you're smaller or scrappy, doing something, you think different. But I'm hearing Donna talking about it. So these are my words, a maturity of mindset. You kind of wake up and are like, wait a minute, I need to get this done right. And then you're scared because you don't know where to go. Obviously, that's where HR Direct Apps is for, and the partner company Comply Right. But I think this is what I'm hearing, Jamie, because we're always not ready to hire what the larger companies have, an HR director and all this. But what I'm hearing you say, knowing you're working, what Donna's saying, that there are resources available that you can still hire, you can scale, you can grow, you can get advice from Kedma, and we'll talk about funding in a minute, but still have a partner. Is that a fair assessment, a partner to help you in the growth with what you're doing, Jimmy?
Most definitely. I think that every small business should have a partner, and there's a lot of resources out there to get partners and to work with somebody that has small business experience, whether it's somebody that you know is a small business owner that's been through it.
Right.
You know, Smart Hustle, things like that, working with you, Kedma, just reaching out to the community, people that have done it before. Because obviously the sooner you start off on the right foot, the better you're setting yourself up for success. You know, because you don't want to get all these people onboarded into your company. You have 10, 15 employees, and now you're trying to backtrack everything that you did. So instead, now you're not focused on growing your business anymore. You're focused on trying to get legal and trying to get compliant. And there's a lot of stuff that needs to happen from day one. You know, so, you know, and even with independent contractors, you know, that's my key word there from Donna in her last comment, because that's one of my favorite topics to talk about. Independent contractors have compliance too, you know, and that's true. So there is such a fine line, that gray area of independent contractor versus employee. So you want to make sure that you understand what is the difference. It's great to even have an attorney, somebody, you know, an employment attorney that you can kind of just lend ear to. to talk to and to ask when you have those questions, because you're better off making sure that it's right versus making a decision that's wrong that could hurt you in the end. And that's where we come in as ComplyRight, HR Direct Smart Apps, because we have free resources available at complyright.com that talk about all these different laws, understanding how to hire your first employee, what laws you need to know, where you need to report it to the state, things like that. And then even as you're moving forward, policies, implementing policies with your business when you get a little bit bigger. And like I said, we have all of that free information available on our website, complyright.com. So that's where we come in as a partner for those small businesses that are trying to get towards that level.
And my favorite part of your resources, Jamie, I think the webinars, things like we're doing here, but I just love, I've been through it myself. And as I saw Donna writing some notes, like she went, what? I got to do this? But the webinars I like because of the webinars, the audio portion, but I think you provide on some of them the PowerPoint or something. So if you don't want to listen to the 60 minutes again, really, the PowerPoint walks you like a little guide. So that's just my 2 cents. It's really good stuff. Nice. So congratulations to the HR Direct and ComplyRight team. Jamie, Kedma, I'm going to turn to you for this. Yeah. One of the panelists asked Kedma, and then I want to get into some financing. And then Jamie, get ready. I want to go some point by point to underline these things about discrimination and applicants. But Kedma, somebody asked about just going back to team building, and I'm curious what you do as well, Donna. But Rushi had asked best practices once you do hire, Kedma. So I've hired. You know, unlike, say, myself, I work in a home office here, but let's say Donna hires her first 2 or 3 employees. They're in an office. They're coming in every day. Any comments, thoughts real quick just about meetings and how to work with them and annual reviews? And I know it's a big question, but just at the high level, thoughts on that, not necessarily the legal aspect, just what people should be aware of. You have your 3 employees. They reported to work. What do I do now?
So again, culturally, I think it goes back to, are you creating a fun experience? So one of the things that people don't know, and I want to just say from the human factor, it is universally proven that the human communication actually incorporates something called friendly teasing. Now, this is not something most people would be aware of. I'm aware of it because I work in the disability community. Having said that, with all these new compliances, friendly teasing becomes a very difficult conversation. For example, and I'll answer the question back, Ray.
Please.
A few months ago, I was, prior to onboarding with this new opportunity, I had walked into a meeting. There was 5 women, and then there was my boss, who's a male. And I had a brand new jacket on, and every female said, oh my goodness, I love your jacket. What a cool jacket, amazing. And my male boss didn't say anything. And I said to him, what do you think about my jacket? And he said, quote, I'm not permitted to respond. Think about this, guys. I'm not permitted to respond because he was so afraid of commenting on my jacket, and the other women had no problem.
Right.
What happened is, without him saying this, and I knew this because I know kind of the procedures, he removed friendly teasing from the equation, which changed the dynamics of the relationship. And when we talk about making a fun, dynamic experience.
And Kevin, you froze a little briefly. Go ahead.
Right?
You're good now.
Yeah, and we make it a law, it becomes difficult in communication. So one of the things we think about in the meetings is, can we create a fun environment? What does that look like? Can it be, I'm very competitive. Can we create awards? Can we have competition? I'm not saying to go out and drink with your employees.
Right.
But can we create fun dynamics where they say, I want to come to work? One other example I'll do, and then I'll pause.
No, please.
I had another, with my employees, I had a rule that if they had a pet at home that wasn't feeling well or was depressed, as long as the pet can be managed, they could come to the office with it. And what a great gift for people, right? Because people, right, love this idea. So one day I'm doing a training. This is the truth. I can't make this up. And one of my employees, Christine, shows up with a llama. Guys, I want you to imagine what you would do when a llama walks into the training room. So this is me. A llama? And she said, well, yeah, you said any pet wasn't feeling well. My llama is depressed. Well, so the llama stayed for the whole day. And I was in the wrong because I wasn't specific on the size of the pet.
This is the stuff that you touch on, Jamie, I guess. No, Kevin, that kind of almost freaks me out. Before we get to a rapid fire questions for Jamie, I'm just curious, Kedma, as Donna's looking to hire, I know your book is out. Target funding, yes. Which I bought from Amazon. What are some of those things, the highlight things in the book, and some things that you think Donna could consider as she's considering hiring? Because, it costs money. What should she look for?
Absolutely. So, Donna, I don't know enough on your business, but I would say without a doubt, I'd like you to go to your city and I want you to look at job training grants. Be very specific.
Okay.
Job training grants. Usually the job training grants are going to pay upwards of 6 months of employee time and the workman's comp for you to go through their program. This is a game changer. I find people usually save anywhere between $5,000 to $10,000 for that employee by going through that program. So job training grants is one. The other one is I'm a huge proponent for voc rehab because people make a misguided thought that I'm not going to hire someone because they have a disability, but what they don't realize is most of the disabilities are invisible. You won't know someone is disabled. They're not going to tell you that.
Right.
And you're missing out on a huge population that can contribute to our community. And you can get funding through that program if you open your heart and look at that as an option. So those are just two that I would strongly recommend that you look at.
For sure. No, thank you for that, Kedma. And the book is Target Funding. Indeed. Thank you, Don. Indeed, Jamie, let's underline a few of these things. You started at the top, but I just want to go over them, as best you can. It's a huge issue, and people can definitely check out Comply Right for a lot of free resources, HR Direct apps. But let's talk about job applications. I mean, that's a huge thing. Jamie, I thought you could just put an Excel document together and throw it up, or not even do that. Just take the resume and be done with it. But I know from you learning, that's kind of a no-no. Help us understand, set the stage, job applications. Why is that important to consider?
Well, it's best practices to use a job application in addition to the resume.
Okay.
One, resumes only give you so much information, and that's only the information that the applicant wants to share on their resume.
Right.
So you're not going to get 10 years experience possibly, or however much you need. They're only going to give you what they want to share in their resume. Since it only provides that information, obviously, with the application, you're going to ask a lot more questions. And not just any application. You want to make sure you don't just use a general application. They have tons of free templates online where you can get a general free application. And I'm sure there are a lot of businesses that use them, but you want to use a state compliant job application because there are a lot of state laws nowadays that you can't not ask on a job application, nor in an interview. And you want to make sure, again, that you're not putting your company in hot water while you're working with applicants that aren't even working for your company.
Wow.
So start off by using that state-specific job application. But in addition to the job application providing you more information, it also creates consistency across the board. You don't want to only take resumes from some people and have job applications from others. But if you make sure that everybody fills out your job application that you have at your company, that's a way to keep your your hiring process consistent, which keeps it fair, to remove you a little bit away from that accidental discrimination when it comes to that aspect. So that's why it's so important, one, to use the job application as a best practice, and two, to make sure that you're using a state-specific job application for where your business is located.
I love it. And I'm curious, Jamie, let's using Donna again as an example. As she's ramping up, Donna's business is going to grow. She's going to hire Kedma. I don't know, cool, $700,000 a year. Me, I'll take $650,000. Jamie's going to do part-time consulting for Donna, $500,000 a year because you already have a good job at HR Direct. Donna's like, okay, Ramon. But seriously, Jamie, it sounds a bit worrisome to me. And again, I think people should be concerned. I think they should be, not in a panic way, but I think this is serious stuff. So my question is, how can Donna and the businesses in America, how can we get the right team? If I'm asking the right question, Jamie, but you correct me, we be choosy. We say no to this, yes to this. We want however we want. We want to make our own decisions, but be legally compliant. Again, I may be asking the same question, but it seems like kind of like the example Kedma gave about the compliment, like I should freeze and not hire anybody and go in a closet. But I'm sure there's ways that great companies who are good people, we can choose who we want. So can you give us any guidance of how to navigate that?
Well, actually, obviously the first thing, and I would say the way that most people would answer this question is obviously keep up with the market offerings and the positions that you have, because everybody worries about money, right?
Yes.
They want what they want to be paid and things like that. So obviously within the market, you think, oh, I'm going to get the best if I offer the best. Not necessarily. So while pay is important, when it comes to really attracting the applicants, the benefits that a company also offers, as well as the environment, and Kedma, you hit on this a couple times. It's all about the culture. According to a Gallup article, I want to highlight this on what high quality job candidates look for in a company. These were the most important things. A company that aligns with who they are and what they believe in. A position that offers challenges and opportunities to make a difference to others. They pay attention to a great workplace. That's on the list. And that's just like Kedma mentioned with the culture and paying attention to building your culture as a company. And then they also look for positions that provide opportunities to learn and grow. Now, if you're looking at interviews, those are the things that you want to look for when you're interviewing the individual, asking the questions that are going to give you the answers that lead to those types of candidates. Now, to give you the opposite perspective for the lower level candidates so that you can identify them in those interviews, your lower level candidates would be more focused on seeking positions that meet their immediate needs. So that could be pay and benefits. They're only looking for a high paying job, or their work hour demands, or their personal and family needs. Or they'll take any position just because they need a job. Be careful of those. Be wary of those individuals, because that could reflect a lack of goals and desire and drive in the position. And these are typically the candidates that we see hop from job to job. They don't really know necessarily what they want. They're filling their need at the moment. Another one is they focus on factors like money or independence, their lifestyle fit, or the types of people that they like to work with, without actually focusing on the challenges and the opportunities for growth. They are drawn to companies' locations or the benefits as a high factor just for considering the position. And then another one is ideal job offers, the job offers high income or independence, the opportunity really to do what they're good at, and then they have a flexible schedule or coworkers that they enjoy working with. They can't really describe their ideal job in an interview. And that makes them less likely to be a highly considerable candidate. But as a manager, it's so important to listen to the answers that the individuals are giving, because as I just mentioned, you're not going to be able to see these things on the application in the resume. It's all about asking the right questions, the legal questions, and listening for those answers that you want. And again, be consistent, because when you're asking these questions of these candidates in the interviews, when you're prepared with these questions ahead. One, you're going to make sure that you're compliant, not asking illegal questions.
Right.
Two, you're going to ask the same questions of the candidates that are applying for the same positions, which is going to give you a more consistent hiring process, but also a way for you to gauge each of these candidates and rate them at a level to say, who am I hiring? Who is the best hire for my company?
Jamie, I feel better. I don't know how Donna feels. I'm going to ask Donna in a minute, but I feel that it's not that I don't have to live in a box, meaning I'm going to repeat what I'm hearing you say, and you tell me if I'm wrong or not. Sometimes when I Ramonize things, it comes out weird. But what I'm hearing is that, yes, focus on the candidate and all that. But if you focus on your business, and I think, Kedma, you've said this several times, if you focus on your business, we're a fun company. We laugh loud. I may have a few things off, but we laugh loud. We all wear red sweaters. We snort, meaning, when we laugh, we whatever. Things like that. Not everybody, but 80 to 90%, you're going to attract people who laugh loud ever. Or if you say, hey, we're the law firm, we're a quiet company, we don't like people loud. You'll overall, this is a silly way, but attract people. Is that what I'm hearing kind of ish? You say, Jamie, am I on the right track there?
And that's what you want to do, the culture of your company. You want to attract the like-minded people. And Kedma touched on this earlier as well. Those are the individuals that you're going to see. Now, granted, obviously, you're going to when you want to build a great team, you want to capitalize on the skills that everybody has that complement
and the diversity,
and that work well together, most definitely. But the culture, they have to fit in the culture. And Kedma touched upon that. They have to fit in the culture.
Yeah. Yeah, please, Kevin. Please.
Can I comment? I know I'm so obnoxious.
No, you're not. Please do.
Okay. 2 things I want to just call out. I love what I'm hearing. One is, as an organization, so in Donna's case, is she wanting, assuming you were hiring employees, is she wanting to hire an employee or does she want to hire an entrepreneur? And I want to be very clear here. An employee is very different than an entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur, meaning I'm being hired with the auspice that I am going to be very entrepreneurial within that organization. And I'm going to move that organization around innovation. And it doesn't matter what line I'm in the company. I'm trained that way. So that's one thing we have to culturally think about as a company. The second thing is that for the low-level jobs, if you've ever been in poverty, it's a real thing, right? The reason I got my book deal with McGraw is because I went from bankruptcy to where I am today. For those people, when we bring them in, I'm doing things that change their lives. One of the things I'll do and I'll share is if I know that they're low level and they're in the apartment and they're hustling, first thing I say to them is, how would you love the opportunity to get your own home? And they think I'm crazy when I say that until I connect them with the housing, urban development, and I get them into a program where the housing program pays for their closing costs. And I literally changed the generations of their family. So I never judge someone for where they are today.
Right.
I judge them for who they can become. That's a different philosophy.
For sure.
So
you attract people. I mean, there was one poster I saw of a cleaning company, legally compliant. I assume probably following Jamie's principles and et cetera. But as you said, Kedma, mixing together the aspect of, I know it's quote unquote only cleaning, and cleaning is a great job, but you know what I mean? It's cleaning, you're starting out. But like you said, and they're one of the highest rated companies, wherever the area they are, but because people like that's the place to go to work. I love it, Kedma. You're exactly right.
Right. And are you willing to do the work? If I'm in the cleaning business, let me tell you, I would be cleaning just next to them.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to be at that level.
That's Donna.
So, yeah. So I just want to call out the employee versus entrepreneur, and how do we change the mindset if they are at the hungry level, at the poverty level?
I love it.
Give them a chance.
I love it. We're kind of at the sloping end of our discussion, but Donna, I want to turn to you as the business owner, the ambassador of small business. You're not the superwoman of small business. That's Kedma's title. Sorry, that's taken. But as the ambassador of small business, Kedma will fly over here and kick my butt. But how do you feel, Donna, hearing this conversation? Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel, I got to be legally compliant? Jamie's giving me some things to think about, but are you excited? If not, it's okay. But that's how I feel. But how do you feel about hearing this discussion?
Well, you know what? Just to Jamie speaking, there's so many things out there to help people. Yeah. There's almost no reason to fail. Okay. I mean, there's so much stuff out there. She named about 2-3 free things. Okay. That I, as a small business person, could go to. Money that this company, is giving out for if you're X, Y, and Z. So it's so much stuff out there for me to do well, on top of it being the drive of who I am. I felt it's almost impossible to fail. How can you fail if you're smart enough to come up with a hustle that is something that's needed?
Yes.
Sure, you can fail if you just come up with these just off the cuff kind of things that you're not going to make any money from that. Come on. You're one of 20 billion. If you think it out, there's a lot of assistance out there. There's rules and regulations that you can go by that'll keep you in this nice little neat box if you're trying to do X, Y, and Z. And then there's even the fact that as employees, they don't even have to be in an office. We can work remotely.
That's right.
Okay. And that's what I'm looking for. I don't have a brick and mortar type space. So don't have that overhead. I'm not paying rent for an office space and this and that. I got my.
Not yet.
Exactly. But I'm just saying, I'm looking to hire somebody that we can work remotely. That seems to be the new thing. Yep. You don't have to come into work every day. You can do extra, and that makes people happy too.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Donna, that is powerful. Jamie, Kedma, turning to yourself, Kedma, what is your summary of the conversation? What are you hearing?
I love it. Well, let me speak to the truth of this. So Ramon met me when I was at the SBDC. I was the innovation director for the state. I left the SBDC 90 days ago and got recruited by an incredible organization. because they're giving me those benefits that we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We are an entirely virtual company.
Yeah.
Guys, let me put it in plain English. For the first time in 14 years, I was able to walk my 8-year-old son to the bus.
Yeah.
Because this company gave me that privilege.
Good for you.
Nobody can recruit me out of this company.
Yeah.
You know why? Because they went to the core of what matters to me.
Yeah. Yes.
You see what I mean?
I got you. I hear you 100%.
So,
Kedma, this is powerful.
Yeah.
And I think, and Jamie, what I'm hearing, Kedma, is that I think, again, this summarizes, and I want to turn to you, Jamie, to wrap up and summarize what you're hearing here. I think that business is growing. We have to hire. And as Kedma said, so Donna has that small business. Kedma's saying this provides value, provides community, a way of life. This is the end of the day. But as Donna has said as well, I think there's tools like HR Direct Apps. There's a ton of free stuff from Comply Right, webinars, all kind of things that, Donna, I'm going to quote you again. There is no excuse to fail. You can hire, you can do right, and be compliant. But Jamie, what are you hearing? What should we know as we kind of come towards the end of the discussion? What should we hear from you?
Well, definitely. Obviously, when you're getting ready to bring people in, make sure it's the right time for you.
Yes.
There's questions you can ask yourself. I'm too much to get into. That's a whole nother conversation. But just make sure you're ready to hire. And when you're ready to hire, make sure you're prepared. It's all about compliance. You want to start off on the right foot. Like we said it before, we all agree there's a ton of resources out there. So if you fail, that means you failed to plan, and there are resources there for you to use. ComplyRight.com has tons of free resources, free webinars once a month for you to check out different topics, from hiring your first employee to implementing policies to talking even about harassment and discrimination. Going
Big topic.
into performance management. So talking about, okay, you've already hired your people. Now, where do you take them? How do you manage them when it comes to performance and that kind of stuff? So it's just really making sure that you want to do it right. And that's where we come in to help those small businesses that want to do it right, because we want to help them maintain compliance so they can focus on growing their business. Because that's what it's about. Dawn, I'm sure you want to grow your business. You want to be able to focus on that portion and just make sure that you're compliant on the other end. So that's what you want to do.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Jamie.
Back onto
Please,
that
Donna.
for a minute. I spent the first 7, 8, 9 years of my business just establishing a business. Now I'm ready to step back and do the administrative part, because I haven't put a lot of work into that. Like I put trying to establish myself and being known in that community and this and that. But now, like I said, with it's growing and me getting into these different lanes, now I've got to take care of the administrative part. So now I have to be more in tune with stuff like I'm doing here today, getting this free information from being around these powerful speakers and women that are very knowledgeable in this. I spend my time doing the administrative part so I can be just as strong in that as I am in the service that we provide. I
love it.
Ramon, one comment?
Please. Yeah.
I just want to make clear for anyone listening, this is what I call gold. Gold is when I give you a lifelong learning that will incorporate in everything you do.
Bring it on.
All resources are not created equal. So let's be clear here. We have to have resources that are vetted with education, with people we trust. Because if we go and visit Mr. and Mrs. Google and we find all created equal. So make sure that you are getting those resources vetted, because nothing in life is free. If you take that decision and you incorporate it, there is a consequence, good or bad. So I just want to make clear that I would rather we call out, make sure that those resources are vetted.
Well, there's 4 resources that I know are vetted. 4 resources. I'll give them right now. 1, Extra Pair of Hands DC. So if you're looking for amazing service to help with your parties and etc., Extra Pair of Hands DC is vetted.
Nice.
Second one, it's second and a half, Target Funding and the whole Kedma O empire. Vetted. And the third resource, that's 4. Third one is ComplyRight.com.
Yes.
I mean, so amazing
That's
webinars and etc. And you'll hear Jamie's voice and her team dishing information. And the 4th, HR Direct Apps, which I must say, as you said, Donna, simple things. I've tried them. You just download, you can use it. You're up and running, being compliant with the things we talked about, applications and recruiting and resumes and all these things right there. But listen, ladies, it's been awesome sharing this time with you. Donna, extra pair of hands. Thanks for joining us. Kedma O, author of Target Funding and guru of LinkedIn and more. Thank you for joining us today. Jamie Lizotte, who's with HR Direct Apps and ComplyRight and her team. It's been great being with you all today. And thank you so much. And thank you to our attendees. Thank you for joining us. And thank you for all of your time today.